bad apple time, baby. We have to pull this motor out of this car here, which is not really the most fun thing to do, but we're gonna try to get it done, get it knocked out quick, and get it on an engine stand. It has lost its thrust. It is providing no thrust for us now, and we are fingers crossed. Here, do I got a pry bar in here? I should show them the pry bar test.
Like on the right side, not any long ones.
I need to get a long ass pry bar.
They're in the right spot.
It just sounds so bad. Like when the dummy way to check it is you just move. Oh, this is perfect. Hold on, you guys. I don't know if you guys can hear it from here or not, but when you check the thrust, essentially you grab the balancer right here and you pry it forward and then you pry it back, and it shouldn't have much play. And if you could hear it, you're in trouble. This thing right here, you guys could probably hear at your house while I'm filming this video. Also, don't pick on me for my crooked ass lift. Let's see what we got here. I don't want to do it off there, but you hear it?
I heard it.
You're not supposed to hear it, folks. Yeah, it moves a lot. You guys probably can't hear it, but it moves quite a bit. So we're gonna pull it out just to be safe. The reason why the thrust got knocked out is the converter wasn't right. So essentially what happens is you got your flex plate and you got your converter bolted to it, and then you got your transmission back here, so the converter is slid into the transmission, and as it builds charge pressure, that charge pressure pushes the converter up against the flex plate and up against the back of the motor. So you got to get your thrust set correctly, or sorry, you have to have your converter spacing set correctly, and you should have proper converter charge pressure, because if it's too much, the converter literally tries to come out of the transmission and it pushes against the flex plate. So if you guys remember when this thing was on the dyno, or you guys would see it at the track on the two-step, there'd be sparks flying everywhere. Because the flex plate, which is flat, is actually getting bent back. Double jointed John coming in handy, and it's hitting the motor. It's hitting the back of the block, and it's just shooting sparks everywhere. That's not good. Once you damage the thrust, it's a slippery slope. It don't ever come back. You heard it, you got to replace it. So we're gonna try to pull the motor out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I say fingers crossed, I know it's not going to go like this. We pull it out, the thrust is damaged, the thrust is not correct. We put a new thrust bearing in there, we're good. It's not how it's going to be. It's going to be the crank's damaged, we got to send the crank off to get fixed, then we can convert it over to roller thruster and put a new thrust in there, and we're good to go. So now, the converter issue is fixed. It's been fixed right after the dyno. I took the converter out of it and I put a Hughes converter in there, and we're good. Converter charge pressure, which we log, is perfect. It's right where we need to be, but the damage is already done. So when we put it back in there, we should be good to go, ready to go racing. We've not turned it up past 20 pounds of boost. The car makes like 1,600 horsepower on 20 pounds of boost. It's a hot rod. It'll make a whole lot more power. All steel, all glass with a 98 millimeter turbo. I don't know what to tell you. The thing's gonna be a hot rod. We just got to get the bugs worked out, and this thing's been full of bugs. So hopefully after this, it'll be nothing but power management, chassis tuning, and stuff like that. So we're gonna get some time lapse rolling, and I got to get to work, so I can't talk to you guys a bunch, but you guys say I never work, so here you go. About to go down. We haven't had one yet. It's 2022, the great meth spill of 2022. Potential is high. We're getting everything all unplugged, labeling everything. Look at how nice it is, because we have again, a plethora of these beautiful Brown & Miller hoses here. And they're not labeled, and they're all like similar in length. So we're like filter in, filter out, fuel out, fuel in. We're good to go. So we got it all labeled, labeling everything, so it is easy when we reinstall everything. We know where it goes, because honestly, half the time I'm like putting it up there and it's like kind of close, or like it might be a little bit too long and the next one doesn't fit. It's a pain in the ass. So we're getting all that figured out. Got the oil drained out of it, and now we have to, you guys are about to see how absolutely absurd a gravity fed dash 16 line is. I'm probably going to spill like a gallon just trying to get it. I mean, look at this. There's got to be a way to...
honestly, if you just leave it like that, it's dripping right into it.
You think that's the best way to do it? It is absurd. If I were to crack this, the whole floor would be covered in meth. Like, it will drain this. This thing is like 3/4 of the way full. Half full. Should I do it or no?
I think honestly that
will do.
That'll do. It'll just take a few minutes.
I was ready to spill this shit everywhere for you guys, but
I mean, hey, you do you.
no, I mean, listen, 2022 LS Nasty changed. Look how clean the shop is, how open the shop is. Like, we're really turning over a new leaf. We're going, we run LDR now, so we're like essentially semi-professional.
This is a class racer's garage.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're leaving the no time world behind. I don't know, man.
You're just itching.
I am. All right, let me. There's just no good way. It's go. I just gotta leave it at that. I gotta leave it at that. This is highly flammable. People don't understand. We're numb to the fact of how dangerous methanol is. It burns clear, so if this is on fire, I wouldn't know it's on fire until my clothes started melting off. But shout out to this badass Waterman fuel pump with their adapter here from Alky Diggers. This is a very nice combo. I use Alky Diggers and Good Vibrations for just about everything, and they are great. Should I label all this stuff? I mean, I kind of know what this stuff is.
Yeah.
But, all right, so we're gonna label it. We'll just do it right.
I think that was fuel pressure.
Yeah, you're right. All right, we'll do it right. We'll let this drain, and then I guess we'll get another time lapse going. We got the bumpers and the fenders off, and last time they were off, and you know the car was down for a while when we had like the incident with the motor. We stuff was getting stepped on, believe it or not.
The hood flying off the golf cart.
The hood got destroyed. Someone forgot it was on top of the golf cart and drove away with it. Someone stepped on the bumper, and it's like a carbon bumper, you know, but it's got steel fenders and all that. It's got nice paint. So we put it up on the shelf. It'd be very difficult to step on it all the way up there. Not saying it can't be done, but it's going to be difficult. And also, look at this. We're like next level, we're labeling everything, put it in baggies, so when it goes back together, we can slap this thing together in like half a day. That's what I'm going for. Efficiency.
How much is drained?
I need to do it. Just do it. The thing is, once I started,
We ain't got time for this.
Admit, like I just have to get it off as fast as I can and then shove it in there.
That's what she said. Or he said.
Here we go. That's gravity-fed dash 16.
Oh, that instantly.
Look at this. And that's with a huge kink in it.
Alright, you're basically drained. Wow. What you need?
No one mentioned that I kinked the shit out of the line. Oh, the line's fine. The line
Brown and Miller.
Brown and Miller line's badass. See, that was a lot of methanol in there. There's got to still be some in the tank.
It's pretty dry.
Nothing will dry your hands out more than methanol. I'm gonna be like,
Even on a nice hot summer day, a little methanol in the hands.
look at it's just all moisture. I have to be moisturizing all night tonight. I think we know which one is the fuel.
I think we'll be able to figure that out.
Should we label it?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Because those are bigger. Like that one's bigger than the other ones.
Yeah. Whoa.
If we can't figure that out, then we got some problems.
All right, should probably let the methanol wipe that up a little bit so we don't die.
Look, it's coming to get me.
Yeah, it's just highly flammable.
So probably not a
Don't
good.
be like dragging your feet when we're walking around now. A little spark from a rock, Ellis Nasty's done for. That quick. Who tightened these? I mean, I get it. We don't want them coming loose. But
No leaks around here. That was done at the track probably, because didn't that thing get swapped out at the track one time?
no, this is a brand new load. Oh. Shit. Jesus. Bet there's more in here. It's everywhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That thing's tight, dude. Vacuum. Vacuum. Well guys, we are about ready to pull it out. We gotta put it up in the air and remove the converter bolts, get the bell housing bolts. It doesn't have a mid plate? Yeah, it does have a mid plate. So that's nice. I forgot that this thing had a mid plate. I don't think it originally had a mid plate. I think we put a mid plate in it. We need to record, and we're gonna make this public knowledge on this badass spacer setup we have over here. So on the top we have 1, 2, 3, 4 small spacers and then 1 fat spacer. And then on the bottom we have 2 gold spacers and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 silver spacers. So when we go to put this back together, if I comment, hey guys, do you guys remember what the spacer configuration is over here? That's what it is.
Oh, no spacers over here.
No, that side's easy. It's this side that could be a problem. So it's super tight in the frame rail area. So we have to pull the engine out with the headers on. we could pull everything out with the front drive and all that stuff on there and then put it on a stand because everything's on the motor plate. That's kind of how I like it, you know. On all my other stuff, you know, the fuel pump is driven by the oil pump, so that's on the motor plate. This one here, it's got a cam driven fuel pump, so that doesn't matter, but the oil pump's still hung off there, so off the motor plate. So once you just do that, you can rip it out and put it back. So essentially, like, if you wanted to have a full ready to go spare, you'd build it identical to this, intake and all, and have a whole different, you'd leave all that on a new motor. So you'd have two of everything. And let's say you go to the track and you, for some reason, you feel the need to replace a motor, you'd just undo, you wouldn't take all of this off. You would undo all your lines, pull the whole motor out with the fuel pump, oil pump on there, set the new one in there and hook the lines back up. So there wouldn't be like any swapping of parts, which I think is badass. So we're talking about getting some spares for some stuff just because it's convenient. If you have an issue like this, you can stick another one in there. Now, if you have an underlying issue that caused it, like the converter, obviously you wouldn't put it back together, but this is a new configuration for us. So probably just going to get the converter undid, and then we'll leave the engine in there tonight, and then first thing in the morning tomorrow we'll pop it out and get it on a stand. And that's pretty much it for the Bad Apple for the time being. Disassembly though, super easy compared to like the Cow or a street car, where this is, you know, we put stuff in certain places knowing that we're gonna have to work on it. It makes it pretty convenient to disassemble it, so it's really not bad. We've been working at it, what, for an hour and a half?
Yeah, let's say less than 2 hours for sure.
Yeah, less than 2 hours, and we've just kind of been taking our time just going through everything. Someone once asked who's gonna pull the front bumper off to spray the fire extinguisher.
I think I remember that.
For anyone at home, it's got a fire suppression system, so you pull it from inside the car and it sprays where it needs to. So
yeah, they say like it's super hard to get. Doesn't it look like it's really hard to get?
Yeah, they're like, what a terrible place to put your fire extinguisher, in the front bumper. I'm like, yeah, I feel you, dog. But that's it. Hopefully when we get this thing out, we can turn it around real quick and put it all back together. I think going back together, a lot of the stuff we just left attached to everything. Like we got to weld a new tab on the exhaust. Big breaking the tabs off exhaust guys around here. But we have all of our lines on our fuel filter, oil filter, so just mount that thing back in there, put the fuel tank back in there, hook the lines up, and you're good to go. So turbo kit, super simple, just a small little crossover, goes right up to a stand. But one thing that did drive me crazy on this is just how like mix matched all the bolts were. So it's like you need to get a 12 for this and an 11 for that and a 14 for that.
I mean, just the 3 bolts for the fuel cell.
All 3 bolts for the fuel cell were
different.
different. So when we put it back together, we'll make sure we're going to get new hardware, run over to the bolt bins and make sure we put the proper hardware so it's all nice and it doesn't take an entire toolbox to work on this thing. If you're at the track, you're screwed. Totally screwed. But everyone's probably thinking, oh, I'm definitely putting up a thumbnail where Ella's swapping the Bad Apple or taking the small block forward out, putting the LS in. So we're not doing that. It'll stay small block forward, but it just needs a little bit of love real quick.